Hey there, everybody, and welcome behind the scenes here at Jamie Riddler Studios. I am Jamie, and I am glad to be here with you today. I have spent the morning recording and re-recording, and then trying maybe recording only for you in audio, and sort of on a weird journey with what I wanted to talk to you about today. And I think that was because the topic I landed on, the thing I wanted to share with you, is big. And it has lots of pieces and lots of things to share. And so I think what I'll do today is just make a start. Just make a start. And I'll be very interested in hearing your thoughts on this topic. And the topic is the power and possibility and also the pain of imagination. And this has come up in the past couple of weeks in Mindful Mondays, which is a class that I teach. And every week we use our imagination to cast forward into the week ahead and think about, what kind of week do I want to create? And then once we've got a picture of that, how do I start creating it? How do I get specific here and start creating it? But one of the things that has come up is that sometimes imagining is painful. And I know that is true. And there's a few main reasons that can be. One is that sometimes when we imagine what we want, we suddenly become incredibly aware of the massive gap between where we are and where we want to be. And that pain gets even deeper and harder to deal with when we feel like not only is that journey far and likely quite challenging, we know that there are some things that are obstacles that make that a journey that likely we will never take. That there are some things in our life, in our history, in our circumstance that are, we have talked here at the studio before about given circumstances and how some of our given circumstances are mutable and some of them aren't. And so we see in between us and the pinnacle of our imagination some obstacles that will not change. And that's painful. It's like in a core, deep way, painful. The other way that our imagination can create some pain in our life is by spinning, right? Is by creating a sense of worry, creating a sense of anxiety, playing out all the worst case scenarios. What if this goes wrong? What if I fail? What if I lose? What if I hurt? What if I hurt someone else? What if I get it wrong? What if all the way down into the worst possible things you can imagine. And with those things on the plate, why would we even imagine? We've got the pain of knowing we may never attain what we're dreaming of, or how far away it is, that gap from where we are now. Or anxiety, worry, playing out all the what ifs that shut us down. So what might we do? We might respond by saying, I'm just going to shut that junk down. Right? I'm just going to say, forget that action. Instead, I am going to be here now. I'm going to be real. I'm going to deal with what is. And there's a way that is awesome. I truly believe that all of our great creative life, all of it springs out of the fertile soil that you are in right now. That's where your creativity lives. But something does also happen when we shut off our imagination, when we close it off because we don't want to feel that pain that sometimes it causes. There are pain points of turning off your imagination too. So one of those is that we can just get into what feels like a hamster wheel of life. We just keep going and going and going, saying yes to what we always say yes to, saying no to what we always say no to, and recreating each day, each week, just like the day and the week that was before. Because it's our imagination that opens up possibilities. It's our imagination that makes us go, maybe I'll turn off this road. Maybe I'll take that side road. Maybe I can make a shift or a change. Maybe more is possible than I originally believed. So there's implications here too, not only for our personal life, what happens when we turn our imagination off, but also what happens in the world when we do so. When we just keep recreating what's always been, when we can't imagine our way to a life we love, we also can't imagine our way to a world we love. And when the world is faced with such great challenges like the current pandemic, like oppression and racism and the violence that comes from it, if we don't have our imagination, if we can't see possibility, if we can't shake off what is and find even just the slightest crack to find our way through, to make a shift from how it is to how it might be. That is the power of imagination, and it matters. So, how do we do that? How do we allow some imagination in? How do we do that without triggering that pain? How do we do that without shutting down from overwhelm because the problem or situation is too big, too challenging? How do we just do that, shake it up, and find that way through? One place to start is to start with something you can believe. Start with something you can believe. It's just like if you were creating a story. If you took a character in a given set of circumstances and then boom, you just change it and everything was over here and awesome, and it'd be too fast. It'd be too unbelievable. People wouldn't necessarily go with you on that journey. So you have to find the believable way to move this character, you, because you're the hero of your story. This character, how does she open up just a little bit? We can undress, take off the specifics, get underneath the something that you're imagining, and instead treat what you might imagine as the sun, right? And you as that character moving towards it, right? Opening up just a little towards possibility, towards change, towards hope, in a believable way that's rooted in your present circumstance. So instead of doing this massive leap to the end of some fantastical story, instead say, how could I imagine in some ease this afternoon? How can I imagine a week with more fun? How can I imagine a week with more freedom? And then start to find the ways that you can build in some actions where you can help to make it so. So this isn't about some unattainable dream. This isn't about getting locked into one kind of imagining or one kind of living. It is about being a free, creative being in this world, a world that provides all sorts of difficult circumstances, all sorts of beauty, all sorts of limitations, all sorts of inspiration, and finding how can I, in this moment of my life, how can I imagine myself into a moment that is meaningful, that is beautiful, a moment that I love and can get behind, a moment, an hour, an afternoon, a day, a week, a year, a life? How can I use my imagination to find the way? I hope that's helpful. I'll be curious to hear. I'd love for you to share your thoughts on your relationship with your imagination, the places where it helps you and the places where it's pretty hard to work with. I think there's some magic here, and there's lots and lots to explore. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.